universities that will not be able to demonstrate their impact in the marketplace by helping their students create jobs, build companies, will to some extent become irrelevant. Education is, of course, extremely important. Basic science is extremely important, but we see a lot of emphasis by the universities to help proactively do technology transfer. Now, if we go back to what Dawkins said, you probably will remember, he said that not the strongest survive, but the one who is most adaptive to change. And what has been unique to Israel is exactly this ability to change. You know, Israel started, you see a visit of Mark Twain, he visited the country in 1860-something, and essentially he found nothing. So we started 64 or something years ago, 60 years ago, and there was nothing almost in the country. And we moved to, the citrus plantations, and then was the defense-related industry, and then we moved to the IT revolution, and now we see nanotechnology, stem cell research, medical devices, etc. So Israel has constantly been very dynamic, reinventing itself all the time. You can think of us like good basketball players. We see the opportunity, we run for the ball, and then we change direction where the opportunity is. And this has been the story of Israel for the last 66 years. And if you will, Zionism itself is entrepreneurial. It's a political, revolutionary idea to take the Jewish people and build a country for them. So Zionism in itself is entrepreneurial, and many of the Jews that built the country actually came from Tatarstan and, former Soviet Union. Now, in order for a country to reinvent itself, it needs institutions like the Technion to do exactly the same. And the Technion all the time reinvented itself. I'll give you an example. In the early 1960s, there was no aeronautical industry in Israel. None, zero. Yet, the leaders of the university decided to set up an aeronautical faculty. Now, the students didn't know where they would work as soon as they graduated, nothing. Now, if you fast forward, today, the Israeli aircraft industry is one of the biggest companies in the country. So the university was always ahead of the curve. Always, marching forward and establishing the new trends. So what you see here is, again, the quote from Mark Twain. He visited the country in 1865, and essentially the country was barren. There was nothing. And he says, even the olive tree and the cactus, those fast friends of our worthless soil, had almost deserted the country. Now, if we fast forward 140 or so years later, what we see today about Israel is that many multinationals like Microsoft, they have built their first R&D facility outside the US in Israel, many of them around our university, Technion. Google opened 2 R&D centers in Israel, again around the Technion. Some of the multinational that you see in Israel have established presence by buying Israeli companies. Better known now, you will not recognize even one multinational company that doesn't have significant presence in Israel. Israel's innovative ranking in the world is pretty high. The number of US listed companies in Israel, if you take the combined number of Israeli companies, the combined numbers of European companies, Israeli-related companies, is actually greater on asset. And if you ask me what is the debt that the Technion has left on Israel's economy, global economy, then it's certainly this, because 75% of the CEOs or COOs of these companies are graduates of the Technion. So by all means, the way that we impact the Israeli economy and the global economy is certainly through our graduates, that they go out and start up companies. But We still build our own companies that are based on intellectual property that is developed by our faculty, by our graduate students. Here you see Israel's competitive edge according to 2012 ranking, and we rank high in business expenditure R&D and total expenditure R&D. Some of the breakthroughs that came that are based on Technion innovation, you can see here, maybe you recognize the distant key that was started by a Technion graduate. Another interesting thing is the Centrino, again developed by Technion students. You probably know another innovation that is not listed here, which is the pill. It takes images of your digestive tract, your GI tract. You swallow it, and it goes out. Take the images of the GI tract. Essentially, what you swallow is a missile. It's a very small missile, but yet it's a missile. It has a sort of light, a sort of energy, a transmitter, and all encapsulated in a very, very small capsule that you swallow, and it takes images of your GI tract and transmit it outside of your body. Some statistics about the Technion: 70,000 graduates, 70% of Israeli educated engineers. All of Israel's industrial infrastructure was started by Technion. Most of our defense capabilities were started by Technion, faculty, etc. Now, shifting gear to technology transfer. This slide is taken from NASA, and it discusses the levels of readiness of technology. And it goes from level 1 to level 7. Most universities, most of the technologies developed by universities are either level 1 or level 2, meaning basic principles of observed and reported, or technology and concept or application formula. What industry is interested in is not level 1 or level 2. Industry is interested in at least level 7. So system prototype demonstration and operational environment. Levels 3, 4, 5, and 6 represent what we refer to as the death valley. And this is why most innovations that are developed in universities, in academia, don't find their way to the marketplace. Another important thing to remember when you talk about technology transfer is, where do most universities make their money? Where do most universities succeed in technology transfer? And the answer is one: life sciences, drugs. Here you can see a few examples. Propric is a drug that was developed by the University of Michigan, was licensed to Johnson & Johnson, and in the year 2002 was selling for $4.3 billion. Another drug, Ipogene, was University of Chicago, was licensed to Kirin from Tokyo, was selling in 2002 for $2.3 billion. Now, imagine that each of these drugs bears 3%, 4%, 5% royalties. That in itself translates to hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars of income to universities without doing nothing. But you know what? Let's not go far. Let's talk about Israel. We have 3 leading universities: the Technion, the Hebrew University, and the Weizmann Institute. Each of these universities have at least one FDA-approved drug in the market. We have Azilec, to treat Parkinson, selling for close to $400 million. It was licensed to Haifa. The Weizmann Institute has 2 leading drugs, Copaxone and Revit, to treat multiple sclerosis, accumulatively selling for close to $4 billion. They actually control 60% of the multiple sclerosis market, one institute from Israel. And you have the Hebrew University with 2 leading drugs, Exelon to treat Alzheimer's, and Docile to treat cancer, selling for close to $1 billion. So, a country of 7 million people, 3 universities, with sales close to $10 billion just from 4 or 5 drugs. Okay, but there's a catch. And the catch is here. We say that most universities make their money in drugs, right? But there's a problem. The problem is that most universities in their development are at the feasibility stage. And here you see that the chances of commercialization of a research at the feasibility stage, where all you have is a scientific proof of concept, are extremely, extremely low. The picture changes once you reach phase 2, and certainly once you reach phase 2 of clinical trials. And this is the challenge. How do you move your molecules that you develop in your institutions from phase 1, from feasibility stage to a phase 2 stage? What you see here is that the required capital at the feasibility stage is extremely low. It's about $500,000. So are the expected royalties. It's about 3%. The hockey stick starts here in phase 2. You see the royalties jumping to about 12%, but the required investment rising to about $500,000. So the challenge for you and for us in university is how do we move our molecules, and I'm sure that many of the students here are in the life sciences space, chemistry, biology, medicine, etc. How do you move the molecules that we develop from the feasibility stage to a phase 2 stage where they become fundable by the venture capital community? This is the major challenge. I will now go over some of the main challenges in technology transfer, the business side, technology, and the intellectual property. On the business side, there's difficulty in assessing the cost among what the market might bear. Buyers don't know what they're willing to pay. The dynamics of the marketplace is mostly unknown. There's difficulty in assessing the cost of goods. There's difficulty in assessing the margins, the savings. The competitive landscape is mostly unknown. The financial forecast, again, mostly unknown. The impact on the marketplace, capital investment required, etc. Many technologies are manufacturing and process related, and it is challenging to estimate the savings involved. So in essence, you are operating in an extremely, extremely risky, hazardous environment. The number of potential applications is mostly unknown. The barriers to